So what do we do now?
What do you mean, what do we do now?
Splinter's out there somewhere.
I know Splinter's out there. Fight?
Fight.
Kitchen?
Kitchen.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do about it?
What can we do about it? April's our only link to these guys. We have to wait until she comes up with something.
Oh, so that's the plan from our great leader. Just sit here on our butts.
I never said I was your great leader.
Well, you sure act like it sometimes.
Yeah? Well, you act like a jerk sometimes, you know that? And this attitude of yours isn't helping anything.
So maybe I'll just take my attitude and leave.
Why don't you?
I will.
Good.
Great.
Go ahead. We don't need ya. Pork rind?
Bull grind. What's up, all you shellheads out there? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fat Blood, and today we're gonna go back in time. That's right. Time to get a little nostalgic. It's cool, man. Get a little nostalgic going through the filmography of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So us, growing up on the classic 80s cheesy Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Breakfast cereal,
yes.
Cookies, all that good shit.
Action figures, all that stuff. All that good stuff. Turtle Mania. Turtle Mania running wild.
We were there for the first wave, folks. We lived it. We survived it.
Yes. There was word going around that there was going to be a movie, but it wasn't advertised as much. I mean, back then compared to movies now. I don't really remember seeing a trailer. Maybe a small TV spot commercial came on TV, and I lost my mind, but I don't really remember seeing. Do you remember seeing anything
honestly,
advertising the first film?
Honestly, the first 15 years of my life when it came to cinema and knowledge of cinema coming out is a complete blur. You know, I mentioned before when Jurassic Park came out, I never even knew about it.
Yeah.
And all I remember is my cousin, who was also a gigantic turtle dweeb, discussing that there was a movie out, and we ended up going to see it in a really cheap theater. And I want to say we were late. We were about 15 minutes late going in, but we still saw it in the theater. But no, I didn't know anything about it.
But man, what a theater experience it was. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out in 1990. It was directed by Steve Barron, and it was one of the best theater experiences I ever had. I mean, it was just like, man, just seeing them on screen, and you know, the animatronics still, and the practical effects still look good.
Yeah,
still look good.
From the late great Jim Henson, who's
up till today, they still look good.
Yeah, you know, we just recently rewatched it, and you know, you might be surprised how well the film holds up. Yeah, there's some kid humor in it, but I mean, the movie is kind of a miracle in some ways, and just how gritty and dark and not too kiddie it is. And I think that's why it holds up the best out of the original trilogy. Even if you want to throw the 2007 animated movie in there, it's still very gritty. And, you know, you got kids in there, you got teenagers smoking. The Foot Clan, they're all kids. They're all teenagers and really young folks who've, you know, been, you know, misguided, homeless, whatever, runaways. And it's kind of edgy. You don't see kids smoking a big giant cigar while, you know, playing poker and shit like that.
And there's violence.
There's violence, just a little bit of blood. Raphael gets the absolute bejesus kicked out of him.
Yeah, Raphael almost gets beaten to death. Beaten to death. In a movie for kids. 1990. What is that, 26 years ago? Fuck world. Shit. Damn it. Filmography discussion was not supposed to go this way. But this is good memories, though. You know, this is good memories. I mean, it was just a fantastic movie experience. I don't know how many times I went back and saw it again and again and again because it was just so much fun. Splinter looked great. His puppet and animatronic effects looked really good.
Yeah.
Shredder was a badass. The score was really good as well.
Yeah, the score is very basic and minimal, and they did the trope where you're going to get a lot more pop music, and not pop music, but more like early 90s rap.
Some MC Hammer.
So you're going to get a lot of that. The score itself, it's a little kind of on the synthesized side, but what's there, it's pretty decent. Splinter has a really, really nice theme that shows up throughout, and it's really quiet. Meditative theme. There's some really good emotional bits in the movie that I felt was a little heavy for a modern day kids movie. I mean, you don't get this stuff nowadays unless it's a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
You get the meditation scene where Splinter is basically, he thinks he's probably gonna die, and he imparts his last words onto the boys, and he's like, I love you all, my sons, and they get snap out of it, and they're crying.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, the heart, the feels.
Yeah.
The brothers have a really good dynamic. We got a really big character shift in Raphael, who was basically just kind of the wisecracking jerk in the cartoon series.
Yeah,
That's how I always remember him.
I did not like Raphael at all in the old cartoon. I enjoyed Leonardo. But when this movie came out, it was like, oh shit, man. Raphael, they gave him some balls, man. Like, he's a badass. He's basically the Wolverine of the team for its time. It's one of the best changes they ever did for a character. And if you notice, they kept that change since the 1990 version of Raphael. They have not changed Raph since.
Yeah, he's always the heavy now. He always kind of has the gruff attitude, but he's always also the really good loyal guy also, even though he always wants to be off and doing his own thing. They've kind of kept the accent a lot of the times. He's always got a scar of some kind, which is, of course he's gonna have a scar. He's a freaking brawler.
And our adventure continues with Casey Jones joining the fray. Casey Jones, perfectly casted.
Yes.
Casey Jones was great in this movie.
Surprisingly well. His character's really held up with that. I kind of remember him having like a Clint Eastwood kind of voice in the cartoon.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, I barely remember him. I haven't watched the cartoon since I was really little, so it's hard to remember. But I remember he was a little bit different in the movie, but he still worked.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the movie is when Raphael gets jumped by the Foot Clan. Not only is he showing that he's a badass and we get some really good fight choreography there, but you get the classic line, hey, how do you guys expect to beat me, And all of a sudden, more and more and more and more tons of Foot Clan members show up, and he's like, good answer. Good answer. That's great. But the fight with them versus Shredder on top of the rooftop at night, this is great, man. There's just so many really good memories with this film.
Yeah, mad props to the choreography involved. They could have gone really cheap and skimped on the fighting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We got some weapons play. We got actual choreography. We got pretty decent filming of the choreography. And this is from 1990.
Acrobatics going on.
Yeah, when if you really think about it, American movies, was that really a thing back then? I mean, it was like, you got that stuff from Hong Kong, and we never really gave a shit about fight choreography with martial arts in American cinema. So
we had Van Damme and Seagal. That was about it, really.
And that kind of shows you the level of respect that they actually paid to the source material to actually do something like that. So, good job, because God knows we didn't get that in the future installments.
Damn it.
So, a mere year later,
1 year,
we are given Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, with a different director, a different April O'Neil. I have no idea why. I guess they wanted somebody more traditionally appealing looking. I don't know. I like Judith Hoag. I felt like she was more plucky as April O'Neil. I felt like she was kind of more spunky, and she had a little more of a personality. And I'm not gonna ding Paige Turco as her replacement O'Neil, but she probably just didn't have a lot to work with. She was clearly there to wear a nice little dress suit and look pretty and just be a reporter. Parents sometimes have this habit of ruining everything, and damn, did that show in this movie. So not only did we lose...
Thanks, parents. Thanks.
So not only did we lose the gritty, grimy, dirty tone with the little mild, very light on the swearing. We got a couple of dams here and there. That was it. No big whoop. The parents apparently had a problem with the fact that
A lot of problems.
April O'Neil, in her rush to be swept away from her antique shop that got caught on fire, was wearing a short skirt and a skimpy little, kind of stringy tank top without a bra. And her and Casey Jones had a little thing going. So you got April O'Neil with high heels and a short skirt and no bra. And parents, thinking that 10-year-olds give a fuck about stuff like that, complained. They also proceeded to complain that it was too violent.
Yeah. Boo! Boo!
And which explains why in Secret of the Ooze, not only is Paige Turco much more conservatively dressed, and there's no Casey Jones, there's no love interest, there's nothing of that sort. You get combat cold cuts.
Yeah, combat cold cuts.
How many times do you actually recall the Turtles using their honest-to-God weapons on somebody in Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah, so instead of nunchucks, Mikey pulled out the sausages, whatever, basically.
Yeah, we had to use the swords, throw them up into the ceiling, grab onto them, and then kick the person in front of you.
Yeah.
And I can understand to a degree the foot soldiers in the cartoon, they were robots. And so the Turtles could just mow them over whenever they wanted to. But they got away from that quite easily in the first movie by simply not killing any of the Foot members of the Foot Clan. Yeah. They didn't kill anybody. They just beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Now, again, at least to Secret of the Ooze's credit, they kept a lot of the same choreography style. And you did get some martial arts, and you got some nice movement. You had a nice stunt crew in the suits whenever the Turtles were fighting. Ernie Reyes Jr. actually got to step out of the stunt Donatello fighting suit and was actually a character in this movie, which I later found out because I apparently stopped watching the cartoon very early on, as I used to. My attention span was nothing. And apparently Kino showed up in the cartoon.
He did.
I never knew that. I guess Toka and Razar might have also.
I think so.
And that was probably the biggest point of contention as children. I remember in the first movie there was no Bebop, there was no Rocksteady, there was no Krang, there was only the Shredder, but there was the Shredder. So hey, yay, we got the Shredder. Well, in this one, we were hearing that, oh hey, we're gonna have Bebop and Rocksteady finally. Nope. Yeah. Apparently there were some kind of rights issues. And we were given these two Bebop and Rocksteady knockoffs, Toka and Razar. Yeah. And I guess for what they were, the tone was greatly shaved down to more of a kid-friendly, like 6-year-old friendly film. Yeah, and
But we're booing now because when we revisited the movie, it's not easy to watch. I mean, it's still fun.
Yeah.
We can still remember the nostalgic moments we had when we first watched the movie. We can still have fun with the movie. There's enjoyable moments.
Yeah, it's
but
like Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, but it's not as easy to watch as the first film. Yeah. I can watch the first film a billion times over. This one, it's like...
Yeah, but admittedly, when it came out
once in a
we
while.
Were kids...
Yeah, but when we were kids...
completely a cinch to watch.
So when we saw it in theater... It was cool. I didn't really care that, the violence was toned down. I was just like, oh, another Turtles movie. Whee!
Probably didn't even notice it.
Yeah, so I loved it when I saw it in theater, when my mom bought it for me on VHS pan and scan cassette, brother. Ooh. All right, hi-fi stereo VCR, okay?
Oh, baby.
She got it from Ralph's or something. There were no Best Buys then, folks, okay? We got Ralph's. Where we buy our movies, Vons. So she brought it home, and that was probably one of the rare moments where I put a VHS movie in, or a movie in general. I watched the entirety of the film, and then I took it out and put it back in and watched it all over again.
But here's my question. Did you have one of those separate VHS cassette rewinders?
No.
So you were burning out your motor.
Yes.
Shame on you.
So, again... When we watched it when we were young, we loved it, okay? But now that we're adults, it's like...
Yeah, it happens.
But there's fun moments in it.
There are a lot of kids' movies that hold up a lot better than others. And I think this one, it straddles the fence. Yeah. Where it's still watchable. It's still... If you look at it through the right lens, it's still pretty watchable. It's just, when you get older and you realize the first one exists, it's like... whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, we know what we're watching every couple of months.
Yeah,
two
two totally different tones
Yeah.
of films. What about some Vanilla Ice showing up? Ninja Rap? Come on, you know you enjoyed that sequence, seeing the turtles getting down, dancing. Go Ninja, go.
It was the 90s.
Yes,
Okay.
damn it.
I make no apologies. I had nothing to do with it. I only lived in it.
And Kevin Nash, for those of you that don't know, the professional wrestler, he played characters Diesel and whatnot, but Kevin Nash was in the stunt Super Shredder outfit. That was the only thing I would have to say was disappointing. Was Super Shredder was disappointing.
Yeah, Shredder survives the dump truck from the end of part 1.
Falling to his death and getting crushed.
To come back in Secret of the Ooze to not really do a whole lot, and then turns into ginormous Super Shredder.
Yeah, and he just killed himself.
He killed himself.
He knocked down a few pillars at the pier, and it fell on him, and he died, and that was it. Yay! So that was a little bit of a letdown, but still at the time, very highly enjoyable sequel, and we all enjoyed it.
Which is not the case. For 2 years later, we were given Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, and I have a cute little story to tell about that.
You go first, and then I'll go right after.
Okay, again, because the first 15 years of my life, I had very limited access to cable TV. Very limited access to TV in general. I lived in an area where the channels I did get, we had a little rabbit ears, and some people don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's okay. Some of you do.
Antenna.
Some of you all do. The programming was very limited to what I had access to. I didn't have access to a lot of magazines. The internet had not been invented yet. Yeah, fuck off. That was a thing, okay? And I knew very little about upcoming movies, and I remember my cousin, again, the cranky critic, you know, he and I, we're movie junkies. We grew up watching the same shit. He would introduce me to stuff all the time. He told me that we were getting a third Turtles film. And I was like, really? Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know they were still around, but okay, whatever. So I go over to his house one day, and he said, hey, the movie came out. I'm like, what movie? He's like, Turtles 3 came out already. Oh, he's like, it's on VHS. What? It already came out in the theater? Yeah, and I have it. I'm like, wait, it came to theater and now it's on VHS. Yeah. Okay, cool. So he goes and he pops it in. And my jaw, when I was able to, get it up off the floor, I turned to him and I said, this is a joke, right? This is a joke. This isn't the real movie, right? This isn't a movie that went to theaters. This isn't real. And yes, so apparently they went with a complete overhaul of the franchise. New director, as you do. New animatronics. They wanted to go El Cheapo.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Jim Henson studio, it's kind of like the Stan Winston studio. It's still around, but just it's working under different people. But Jim Henson at the time, you didn't fuck around with Jim Henson Studios. They knew what they were doing. They're consummate professionals. And the Turtle Studio, couldn't afford it. And they were promised a product by another company that could give them better results than the Jim Henson Studio at half the price.
Yeah. Do you ever want to see Splinter look like the rat from Chuck E. Cheese?
I call him Frankenrat.
Frankenrat?
Yeah.
Listen, my sons. Oh, that was bad.
Reverse shots of him going in and out of the little... You never see him from the chest down.
That was bad.
It's just a robot.
Yeah, that was bad. Now, my experience. Yeah. So at least that was your experience. It was bad, obviously, but mine's a little bit worse because there was anticipation. Okay.
You knew about it. Okay.
Yeah. My buddy gave me the newest copy of Ninja Turtles magazine that they had at the time, and he's like, "Hey, you gotta check this out, bro. You gotta check this out, bro." So he gives it to me, and I grab it, and he's like, "Look at the last page, bro." I look at it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the last line, and it says, Casey Jones will return for the third movie, and I was like, ah! I was like, oh shit, Casey Jones come back, what? I couldn't wait, right? So finally, the trailer was released, but I missed it somehow. I think if I would have saw the trailer, I would have been like, I don't know, but I still would have saw it anyway, because it was a turtle nut, all right? So anyway, I waited to the $3 theater, so I was kind of smart. And when the movie started, yeah, it was about the same. Same reaction you had, jaw drop. It was just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
You want to talk about derp-faced turtles?
Oh, yeah.
Some of the worst facial expressions.
God.
Some of the most robotic facial or mouth movements that you could possibly imagine. You can almost hear the machinery like freaking around in there. Teeth. Nothing but teeth. Those pronounced freckles.
Everybody looked so goofy.
Everyone looked terrible. And they went full G-rated for this one. This one was nothing but boing and wah-wah and really shitty kid quips and sorry about Casey Jones there, babe.
Yeah, Casey Jones. Yeah,
same actor.
Yeah, same actor.
Actually spring for the same actor to come back.
Yeah.
And he's a babysitter.
He babysat the Japanese samurai warriors that got transported to Earth while the turtles went back in time to feudal Japan. And he just babysat them and showed them hockey.
And had
hockey! Yeah, that was it!
And had
Casey Jones didn't fight! He didn't do nothing!
And then he had that ambiguous ancestor role, which made no sense.
That made no sense.
Why?
Casey Jones had a look-alike.
He had an ancestor that made it to feudal Japan.
Was that his real ancestor?
It was implied, but never really implied. You had to assume, why would he look like him? Why are you going to go to feudal Japan and find a white guy, first of all? White people, outsiders weren't allowed in Japan for a really long time, so what was he doing there?
It was strange.
He could work it out, but why else would he?
Yeah. And one of the greatest villain deaths in cinema history. Go ahead.
Well, it's basically the equivalent of, let's see, you could combine Dick Jones's fall from RoboCop, except it's not claymation. It's not stop motion animation. It's just a really bad composite shot of some guy kind of falling away from frame and then disappearing.
Yeah.
I think they added an audio splash.
Yes, they did.
But that was about it.
Yeah, so you see the villain, the movie's so cheap, you see the villain fall to his death in the ocean. And you don't see him fall into the ocean or anything. He just literally, you guys should look this up online. It's hilarious. Look it up on YouTube. He literally just falls, and right when he gets to that water, he just disappears. That's it. It was that cheap. It was just, oh.
So this is definitely, probably, in my personal opinion, of all of the feature-length theatrical films, and this includes the 2014, this includes the 2016, this includes the 2007 animated feature film, this is the least watchable.
Yes.
Bar none. I mean, there is a story, and it is kind of reminiscent of the original because it's the last film where we have live-action turtles, where we actually have animatronics and actual guys in suits with humans on the set. So in that aspect, it's kind of like you have to watch it every once in a while just to be like, oh, Jesus, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now you can laugh at it.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was like, ouch. That was a really shitty way to go. But as far as just like, there's really little to glean from it in terms of enjoyability.
One of the few positives about the film is that they kind of brought some of the fighting back. Yeah, just a little bit compared to the second film.
Yeah, we had the weapons again. You know, they were able to use those. And one thing that wasn't a total wash that you can actually deem worthy of praise was the score. Yeah. The score was actually really nice. We had some nice themes. I listened to that on cassette. I probably burned that cassette into the ground. Believe it or not, it's actually a really solid score. So 1993 came and went. The movie came and went. The Turtles came and went, and I think by 93, it's safe to say, I was no longer in with the Turtle crew. I had other things I had latched onto. And the Turtles basically kind of forced themselves out of the public spotlight for a while, if nothing else, is because they had oversaturated themselves. And there weren't really any other Turtle things for a while. Now, I know in the late 90s, I want to say they brought in that really terrible Saban TV show.
Oh, that was horrible.
Where we had a lady turtle. And I never watched that. I was always morbidly curious, but I could never find it. And I think I found one episode, and I'm like, oh, no, I can't. Yeah. I have tolerance for a lot of things, whether it's in my age range or not, but no, I just couldn't. Yeah. So 2007 comes along.
That's a huge gap.
Jesus, and we're finally given another feature length film. Now this time around, of course, it's animated. Really nice CG animation
For its time, yeah.
Yeah. And I did not see this in the theater. At this point, the Turtles are more like a novelty for me. They're very heavy on the nostalgia, which is why I follow them in the film sense, but I've never actually watched another TV series. I feel like that's too far out of my depth. That's too far out of my league. I'm not about to start up, no matter how good the series is. And I've heard there's actually some really good TV series.
Yeah, the
out
series now has gotten nothing but phenomenal reviews.
Yeah, but it's hard to justify going and watching a kid's show. I mean, it's not like I haven't done it before.
Yeah,
but it's
one of those one day.
If I've got nothing else to do,
we'll
and
check
it's
it
a
out.
really good show. But so, in a film standpoint, I don't have a problem following the Turtles' adventures on film. And this one, I gotta say, I've only seen it the one time, and it's solid.
Yeah, it's solid. It's good. It's better than 3.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater.
Ah.
Of course.
Of course you did. Hey, you've seen worse.
That's true. Oh, God.
The stories this man can tell.
Yes. But no, the CG animation was really good, the CGI animation. But I enjoyed it. Everything was fun. There were some good action sequences in there. I think the only thing that kind of held it back from greatness was the villains. The villains were very forgettable, in my opinion. I mean, were they bad villains? No, the villains were fine in the movie. They were fine. You know, you got to give the turtles something to fight.
Right.
But for me, though, the best part of the film, fight choreography-wise, animation-wise, and really giving me the best emotional investment was the fight on the rooftop at night in the rain with Raphael versus Leonardo. That was great, man. I mean, that was just a beautifully filmed and animated fight, and it was emotional.
Yeah.
Because Leo and Raph, man, they're butting heads, and Raph was going off and doing this vigilante thing with Casey Jones, and, you know, they butted heads, and surprisingly, I didn't see this coming at all, but Raphael defeats Leonardo. He beats him. I was like, what? I didn't expect that at all. And he had a chance to finish him, and then you see Raph's face and his eyes. Like, he's like, what the hell am I doing? You know, this is my brother. You know, I mean, that was really good scene. That was the best part of that film.
Yeah.
And we have some really talented voice actors in this film, and they do a great job, like John DiMaggio and Kevin Michael Richardson, Nolan North, Chris Evans, and Patrick Stewart. And the legendary Mako as Splinter, who I had the pleasure of meeting one day. I was at a martial arts convention, and he was there. And a great guy, made me laugh. You know, I went to go take the picture with him, and he goes, hey, could you squat down a little bit lower? You're making me look bad. And I couldn't stop laughing. He was laughing. We were having a good time. He seemed like a very sweet old man. So
It's adorable.
Mako. So as solid and as fun as the TMNT animated film was, it didn't do that well. It didn't do enough to bring back a brand new franchise of Ninja Turtle films. And yet again, we have this huge gap between movies now.
Yeah, and I have to say, the only thing I can think of is that they made up with that again in the plethora of TV series. Now, American animated TV series seem to have a pattern. No matter how good the series is, they tend to cut it off after about 2 to 3 seasons. And they come out with another one, and they redesign things a little bit so they can sell new toys. And I get that. It's a business. That's fine. But again, you know, we're not paying attention to the TV series. And so we had to wait until 2014 for the Michael Bay produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And boy, if this wasn't polarizing and rage-inducing and controversy-inducing as well. You know, there was so many early issues with this movie from, they're going to be aliens now. At first, it wasn't sure if Michael Bay was going to direct it or not. And at this point, he had already solidified himself as someone who does not give a shit about the films he makes in terms of, if it's based on a source material, he doesn't give a fuck. Everybody knows this at this point. Michael Bay does not care about your childhood. He doesn't care about making a competent film. He wants explosions, he wants color, and he wants TNA, and really juvenile humor. And so, we finally find out that Bay's only executive producing. It's going to be through his production company. It's going to be a different director. It's like, okay, well, that's okay. But there's still that looming thing. Are they going to be aliens? What are they going to change?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then we get the news that Miss Megan Fox, Deadeyes herself, is going to play April O'Neil. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, now you guys don't even give a shit. You guys have just proven you don't give two fucks about what you're doing. And then the designs of the turtles start to come out, and everyone's fucking panicking at this point.
A lot of fans were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and I admit, I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
This is not, okay. So, needless to say, when the reviews started coming in, we stayed away.
Yeah.
We stayed away from the theatrical release. There was also the whole issue with the Shredder. They had hired William Fichtner to play the bad guy in the film, and you can there's some really clear points where you can tell the studio, I'm not really sure why they started listening so soon to the fan outrage on Shredder being an old white guy. But you can tell when they hit that panic button and they started refilming certain scenes to bring in an Asian person to actually play the real Shredder.
Yeah.
And
it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you watch the movie, you could tell, okay, that's the point right there.
So not only do you have the out of place Shredder editions, but you have the scenes that don't make any sense now, because why is Fichtner's character talking about ancient stuff and talking about Japan and talking about this and that and this and that, and he disappears by the end of the film. He flat out disappears. You don't know if he's dead. There's no reason for him to be dead. He buggers off, and the movie is a bit of a mess. And when we first saw it, we kind of knew to aim low with our expectations.
Yeah.
And, everything, what you see is what you get. Everything you've heard about the movie, it's the April O'Neil film. It's true.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. And of all the people to cast, and again, taking pot shots at Megan Fox is like taking pot shots at Rebecca Black at this point. Everybody does it. Everybody knows she's not a proper actress. This is not a debate, okay?
Right.
Everybody knows that she's there for eye candy. You can't argue with that. But of all the people to give a role to where that role is now the focus, why would you do that? Why would you put her in a leading role like that? So that was kind of a bit of a strike against the film. And when we first saw it, it was painfully obvious that this was not necessarily a Turtles film. But, it was one of those movies where we ended up buying it for cheap. Mm-hmm. I think we rented it first.
Yeah, we rented it first.
Bought it for cheap, and it's,
Yeah. It's not that bad. It's solid. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not as bad as some people are saying it was. I mean, people were giving the film dog shit and F ratings. I mean, the worst ratings ever. I mean, it's definitely got its flaws. I mean, there's some bad, really moments in the movie.
Yeah,
but it's still, I thought it was an entertaining watch. It's not great.
Yeah.
By no means is it as good as the original 1990 version.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's still watchable. There's some decent action in it.
Yeah.
There's some decent fight choreography in the movie.
The first impressions that I had was it was a very threadbare kind of patchwork story where you can tell they had to try to piece together a lot of things to try to salvage what they had and what they had to add. But what I did also notice was how much potential was in the film, in that I actually grew to love these turtles. Mm-hmm. I've actually grown to love the dynamic that the four turtles had. And this is probably the best defined personalities that we've gotten from all four of the turtles. Because if you go back and you watch the originals, Raphael was the loner. Michelangelo was the pizza-loving, kind of dippy one. Leonardo was the leader, and Donatello was kind of the brains. But if you watch that first movie and the subsequent movies, Leonardo gets exponentially dumber as the movies go on. Like, by the third movie, he's got the worst derp face out of all three of them, and he's just dopey. And Donatello isn't necessarily the smart one. I mean, in the second one, in Secret of the Ooze, he kind of is, But this is the movie where I think the 2014 one is where all four of them have clearly defined characters, and I actually really quite enjoy them. Mm-hmm. And that was why we decided to buy the movie on the cheap, was because, it's a mess, but the turtles when they're on screen, they really hold the film together, and their dynamic together is what really makes me able to watch the movie, which is something that I actually did after watching Out of the Shadows, and I have a slightly different opinion of the movie now, which I might go into a little bit more into detail when we compare and contrast in our Out of the Shadows review.
So overall, we have enjoyed these movies. Well, you know, kind of enjoyed the third one a little bit, but still, overall, so far as of now, the first movie is still the best. 1990 will always be the best Ninja Turtles movie. And let us know in the comments below what you guys think. How do you rank the Turtles films? Let us know in the comments below which Turtle movie you consider to be the best. We thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Pork rind?
Pork rind! What's up, all you shellheads out there? Fat Samurai Guy here with... Oh. What's up? Yeah.
Oh my god. Hey, any agents out there interested in a 35-year-old loser?